Hey everybody, welcome back to X's for Show. We are here to talk about Slaysian Royale. We're so excited. Drag Race Philippines, kind of like their Super All-Star Edition. I'm NICO. You guys can check me out at NICO Action.
I'm TK. You can find me at TK Accidental.
I'm Tori. You can find me at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
Hey everyone, it's Jonah. You can follow my places at Peak Jonah.
And that makes me a producer, KEVO. You can find me at KEVO. Really make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But gosh, we're super excited to be talking about everything we've enjoyed this season on Slaysian, that's for sure.
I would like to cast my vote for winner by taking a sip of some brandy and doing a vape trick. So I would like to say that this is the season of Drag Race with the most vape tricks per minute, because it's had like 12. So I want to start with, I love Versus the Worlds so much, and I really love that this Slaysian Royale Versus the World concept was something that was so exciting to get to watch and be part of learning so many new queens. I fell in love with Arizona Brandy immediately and cannot look back. Does anybody have a girl that they're just like, no, she's my life?
It's Brigiding. I adore Brigiding. I think she's very fun. I enjoy her drag. And finding out that she was an earlier out on her season who had to lip sync a lot, to see her kind of come back and demolish in a way is the kind of like redemption story that we love seeing on Drag Race.
I too really like Brigiding. I also really like Vinas. Vinas is probably my favorite. But I also recognize that the two of them are really mean. And it kind of like I really like them a lot, but they're really mean to the point where I'm like, I probably don't want to even say that they're my favorites. But
well, as long as you're not a witch, you're safe with Venus. So
well, and then there's that. So yeah, but I don't know. I really do. What Vinas is giving us in terms of looks and everything is really amazing. She's been a really strong competitor all the way through, and I've just enjoyed watching her. She's been, she's always provided really strong entertainment of the stuff that I like on Drag Race.
And I would have loved if she did Fez for Snatch Game.
Yeah, I started off this season being like vaguely remembering Yuhua very fondly from her season 10, but I was a fan of Khianna and Venus, and I slowly soured on Venus's personality quirks and slowly felt like Khianna was doing a very good job, but not at the level that they were looking for from her. And so I had to sort of give that up. But Brigiding is so shining. So shining. And Suki is killing it.
KEVO, how you feeling? You think you got a favorite girl, or are they just all your favorite?
To give the pageant answer, yeah, everyone's been really great this season. Bernie, we were just saying Bernie's name backstage.
Bernie, so beautiful.
It's been really great. Ivory Glaze in the running to play Desire in the never forthcoming ever again Sandman adaptation of anything.
Hold on, wait, she's got a faint real quick. I'm kidding. I love her.
Just a lot of really great talent, and it's been a lot of fun. This one's out was insane, Siam Phusri. But yeah, I was really glad to see Suki Doll get that chance for the finale, but I'm not sure how I feel about fake out Final Fours, because this entire episode was kind of sitting in anticipation that didn't ever result in anything. And I'm not unhappy to have a Final Four, but I feel like the fake out kind of takes a lot of the heat out of the excitement and the anticipation, and I'm not sure how I feel that this is something I feel like we see too much in reality TV.
And it's part of the problem is, like, I think there were 10 girls or 12 girls. I can't remember the number off the top of my head.
There were 12.
And all 12 of them could have been finalists. You know, it was one of those things where there was so much talent. Like, how do you get to a top 4? No, really, I'm going to be really honest with you. If Cameron can be a finalist, anybody can be a finalist. So I feel like the over-under on this was like it would have been too hard to go with only 3 girls, but I guess part of me, like the game player in me, is like, yeah, but if the final boss uses a move that removes one combatant from play, someone's not getting the experience points.
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of these girls were really bringing something special. I think some of them were sent home a little too soon, but I do think that I think the Philippines sent some extremely excellent talent, and I think a lot of the international queens were the rest, the best and the rest. I think was two teams we had once back in like season 3. Like, and so I think they put up a valiant fight, but when they had the episode of just being like the foreign girls just didn't come prepared, it was pretty obvious to me from the beginning that Suki Doll was the only one who might have been able to rack up against these gals, and I was very proud of Yuhua for how far she got. And I think that man, Kitty Space should have drew the wrong lipstick and made a real big tactical error on that one. But I think we were heading towards a very heavily dominated Filipinos top and finale. And I'm excited because they fucking bodied this whole competition the whole time.
Panay excellence from beginning to end, right?
Right. And
so cool.
I'm glad for Suki to be there. I think she too is surprised to have made it to the finale. I think she gave an excellent lip sync, and I think she was fully prepared to hear thank you after watching what Venus was up to next to her.
Well, Jonah had a really great point, which was we went into the episode thinking like, gosh, someone's gonna have to go home from the Philippine seasons because they're never gonna do it without one girl from the non-hosting country. They're never gonna. I was just surprised that Yuhua didn't just keep finding her way, surviving in a weird way that we were confused about, because I was shocked, and I think Jonah was too. There were no Ru girls in the finale. 4 girls, no Ru girls. Jonah, hit me. What are you feeling about the lack of Ru in RuPaul's Drag Race, a version I'll admit I don't know that she'll have ever watched?
I appreciate it because if you were on a Ru hosted season, which includes Down Under, Down Under 1, 2, 3, because UK Down Under 4 is not a Ru season, or UK or US, I don't think it's entirely fair that WoW and production will give you a little bit of a leg up in these international seasons. Like, you're guaranteed a couple of episodes. I do appreciate it, and it does help, and it is one of the only ways they're going to try to draw in an international market. But I kind of like that this season kind of said, no, we don't care about any of that. We're going to have an international girl. It's whatever the international girl is the best that makes it there. Because the first 4 eliminations are all international girls, and we're kind of just like, oh, well, I mean, that is kind of bound to happen when you send top 5 plus from your 3 seasons compared to other people who were eliminated like first or second. And so, like, I wish this was, I wish it felt a little stacked for both sides, because it did kind of delve into the Filipino Pinoy queens versus the international queens. And the Filipino queens dominated, slayed, destroyed, and I love that they got to kind of showcase their skills, and it makes me excited to want to go watch Drag Race Philippines 1 through 3.
Yes.
Side note, that look from Brigiding was the most mind-boggling thing. There was genuinely a point where she put it down and untucked, and then it went back to her, and I was like, oh, wait, why is she sitting over there? Oh my god. Well, it's not actually her.
It was
her.
Diabolically beautiful.
I'm the weeping angel looking at it.
Yeah. And between that and then Venus's mythical dwarf was just also a fantastic piece. We saw excellent fashion out of so many people. And I went on a deep dive on some of this. And like some of the seasons that they come from, and learned a little bit about how, like, in Thailand, on Thailand Drag Race, you can go home after you won the challenge. You can get eliminated for your runway. And I found that to be fascinating. And so I think this was also the first time that I've really felt, at least, like the Ru part of the rubric was missing or minimized in a way.
I think it's one of the things I really like about this show and what's going on with particularly the Asian franchises, which is one that, like, there is an emphasis being taken away from Ru and from the RuPaul of RuPaul's Drag Race, and literally it's not in the name. This is Drag Race Philippines, Slaysian Royale. Ru's name is not in it, but there's also just this idea of, like, other countries' cultures are so infused with their own drag that they don't need to do just the American version with the American rules, but their own way. But I will say that a lot of the like Drag Race Thailand, Drag Race Philippines, and like I was really noticing it in this show, between the format of the show and the energy of the girls, it feels a lot more like early Drag Race season, early RuPaul's Drag Race seasons, like 2 to 5.
A chaotic joy.
Yeah, with more of the polish.
Yeah.
And like the fact that there are so many mini challenges and they're really stupid, but they take up a bunch of time and they're funny and they're really joyous and they're often very chaotic. They often don't provide us with a ton in terms of, like, they're not like, I often say in RuPaul's Drag Race where we are now, where we rarely get mini challenges, that I wish we had them and they were slightly more skill based, because I would just like to see people get more chance to show off their skills, because I think it's so infrequent that they get to a lot of the time, because we know so much about what the challenges are going to be. But this show doesn't seem to have that Ru and American World of Wonder desperation to make sure everything is clung to and everything is controlled and the narrative is so completely theirs. These are very chaotic. There's a lot of, like, you know, the editing doesn't cut out awkward moments of language barrier or people talking over each other or jokes.
Arizona making a reference and everybody not getting it, and her literally going, "None of you got the reference. Never mind."
Yeah, exactly.
That was
yeah,
so
exactly.
Cool.
Exactly, because it's real and it happens, and it's not. It did not take me out. In fact, I think it's more of a buy-in than just having everything cut so perfectly and everybody saying exactly what you would want them to say, but never really actually being that funny. And never actually saying anything that controversial. I don't even, like, the witch moment was pretty insane. And, you know, I feel like the closest analog we have is Hormona Lisa saying that she felt the devil in Katy Perry, but that's not a moment that happens in Drag Race. It's just a thing that, like, we know about from Roscoe's or, like, wherever she ended up saying it, that we all heard her say it. And it's extremely funny, but it's not a part of the show.
You know, I just want to be sure, because maybe she said it, maybe Ginger Minj said it, I'm not sure, but either way, I do think I want to just jump and get your particular opinion on something in that regard, because, like, one of the things I'm hearing that you're kind of saying is, like, with the show controlling it less, the girls control their own story a little bit more. And do you think that maybe played a result in Siam Phusri having an emotional day that was taken a little bit out of context, which I wish I need that to come to America. I need everyone to start reacting to everything that shocks them by saying it back dramatically, because that is literally what I have been missing. I'm not being sarcastic. That is what I have been missing from my socializing. Think about me. You're gonna have, like, a shout.
I think the girls, I think we were given outbursts by our foreign queens a lot more than we were given outbursts by the Philippine queens. But I think that also comes from being the only person in the room who speaks your own language. And so you're running on translation the whole time, particularly, like, at least, you know, America, Canada, UK, and down under can kind of band together and be like, all right, we've got the primary English speakers here. you know, Suki and Madame Yoko had and Kitty France had French, but like it to me, I feel like Siam being from Thailand was one of the things that kind of kept her separate, particularly when it seemed like she has a very extravagant, large, big drag that is not, we didn't see the Filipino girls try for, so that's me. That's this
lineup, guys.
It's all of us.
Ooh, looking gorgeous but tired, just me all day.
That's gonna be
so
the
yeah.
yeah.
I think for me, I think that's what happened for Sam, because there was just a culture difference, and I feel like we saw that there, and I feel like we saw a lot of the diaspora in the beginning 2 episodes, when it sort of felt like even the runway and the judging was like, you're here to have Slaysian excellence, why are you also showing me Germany?
Yeah, and that's like that's part of where I sometimes wonder about the nature of how I present my own culture. Like, you know, I'm a pansexual man, but I identify very gay. I am a Cuban and Greek man, but I know that everybody likes to go, oh, look at him, he's white. And they say he's white, so I'm white, I guess, because other people get to tell you your culture. And that's what kind of happens here, where like the part of the culture that the judges panel was versed in and looking to see, because that's part of it. Like, I would never ask my Greek family to judge something I'm doing about my Cuban side. And so I feel like it's beautiful to bring other parts, but for it to not resonate with the judges actually kind of makes some sense, because the judges know what their experience is. They know what they're looking for. There's a criterion to Philippines Drag Race that is different than German Drag Race. And, you know, we saw places where that worked and didn't work in global, but I do think you're really right here, Tori. It was unfortunately not a strength as much as it wasn't necessarily a weakness either.
Yes.
You know, Jonah, I want to get you and TK to kind of talk to us a little bit about something that only you two can talk to us about. Yuhua is from, you know, several series before I signed up. And so I am coming at this from a bit of a lack of experience with what the fandom felt at the time. Now, I just want to say, Yuhua, girl, you were out there doing New York proud, being part of the New York Comic-Con this weekend, hosting the unofficial after party. Thank you so much for being a part of our culture in New York Comic, because I've been going to Comic-Con since I'm 5. So, like, you know, thank you so much for being a part of my culture in that way. How do you guys feel about Yuhua, a girl who really represents American Drag Race, and her performance on the big stage here in Slaysian?
I mean, I love that she won a challenge. I thought she did great. I think this was a good showcase of like, yeah, you know what? Yuhua is very funny, is enjoyable, has great confessionals. Might not always be the best at Drag Race challenges, but I think she's a delight and just fun to watch on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, she has been really great here. It was fantastic to have an Asian queen from an American season at all. You know, I say at all, even though like they could have absolutely dominated. It could have gone one of two ways. Like they could have dominated, or we could have had nobody. But I think they found a nice, you know, having Yuhua there was very cool. But you know, I will say, I remember distinctly she was one that I was really excited about in the Meet the Queens for her season, and then I was immediately really disappointed by. And she just didn't perform that well on her season of Drag Race. The challenge that sent her home really bothered me, because it was just one of those challenges. It's again like it's the Kimura Hall as like can't get the rooting for us. Her not being able to deliver the line that she wrote about her body in various positions, and not understanding what ugly is, her hot and flexible body, not understanding what ugly is. It was so weird, and so like I was just like, gorgeous, and like you have a reputation for being so good at so many things. Why are you not getting this? And it just clearly happens to some girls, because again, same thing with Kimura, absolutely gorgeous, has a reputation in her hometown for being an incredible queen to go see, but just didn't do well on Drag Race. Like, just for whatever reason that's not the lane to be in. And you know, we saw a bunch of Kimura at Roscoe's hosting for Project Runway. So again, like, and she's fantastic and really fun, clearly a great queen. And so it's great to get a chance to see Yuhua again. And actually, Yuhua was over the last year hosting a drag brunch in New York that my mom went to. And they had like a walk off for like people in the room, like people at the brunch, and my mother won it. And I thought that was very funny. So like, you know, it's nice to see queens either get to be in their element, as in the case of somebody like Kimura hosting at Roscoe's, or get a chance to come back and actually do well. None of us ever want to see anybody do poorly. But sometimes I don't want to see them come back and do Drag Race and do poorly. Like, I would rather never see a queen on Drag Race again. I would rather see a queen, you know, at her local bar being amazing, putting on a fantastic show, than seeing her go on Drag Race 4 more times and just never clear the top, you know, 12, top 11, whatever it is. I just always want to see them doing great.
You know, it's like Gary Cherone. You just don't love him in Van Halen, but you want to see him go back to Nuno Betancourt. So,
of all the examples you could have used,
it was just for you. So, anyway, I want to say, you brought up, both of you, Jonah and TK, you brought up something that I love so much. What a season of redemption for every girl. No girl came back and said, I don't feel great about me. I mean, I feel like Madame Yoko was ripped from me. I personally, I love the idea of playing with masculine and feminine at the same time in a dexterity, in an inclusive way that allows the presentation of everything. I think there's beauty to women with mustaches, and I think there's beauty to men with breasts. And I just feel like we don't need to lock into one lane, but something I've never really seen Drag Race, any version I've watched, and I'm sure there are versions out there, and I'm really excited to discover them. I've never seen a version of Drag Race embrace a counter identity to the pretty girl queen the way, unfortunately, Dragula has. And, you know, I have my things to say about the Boulets and the fact that I don't think they were ever buried alive to get a gig, but that's neither here nor there. They do a better job recognizing alternative identity queens like Landon Sider, who I just found out was on the Hocus Pocus tour, and I never wouldn't have gone if I had known that Landon Sider was on it. Are you kidding me? One of the greatest queens we've ever had in like television history. King, thank you so much. What an unbelievable king to have had. Just everything. Anyway, I loved the redemption here because I fell in love with Arizona Brandy in an instant. I was blinded myself. I just knew she was for me. It was really amazing. And to find out that she worked so hard to redeem herself. I think about the girls, because like evidently, like she talks about getting to the finale, but that nobody believed in her. And that's horrible. And like to see the judges they had, like Sasha, like Nymphia, like even we had Excellence with Crowns, who had to come up through something. Sasha's been around for 1,000 years, and she finally won her crown. Well, she's a bit older than the average winner in a way that I think should be worn as a badge of honor, not as an insult.
Yes. She calls herself Dumbledore. So
yeah. So I just love how many of these girls felt like this was their chance to show that they have become more incredible than you've ever known. And Bernie was one of them who really stuck out for me, who was like, I'm finally my realized self. The thing that I almost feel sucks is that Suki's unbelievable level up. Her fashion has only gotten better, and her ability to make fashion for other people has only gotten better. And one of her great strengths is making other queens look as beautiful as she does. And there just wasn't enough opportunity for her to show that side of her ability here, which is where I would have loved a little bit more opportunity for someone with Suki's talents to shine. But you can only have people so much. It's not Project Runway. Where's Utica? Where's Utica?
Suki on Project Runway. When? One drag queen per season.
Well,
Required.
they did just announce Drag Race Canada, Project Runway Canada. So,
yeah,
we could see her there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a fantastic redemption for a lot of queens. It's been a fantastic, just kind of like reintroduction. And I think, you know, this show especially, like the format of it and the energy of it, as you mentioned, Nico, like it gave queens, for better and for worse, a little more rope to sort of I don't want to say to hang themselves with, but to do something with. Sometimes it's hang themselves, sometimes
Accidentally lash themselves.
yeah, or you know, weave into a gorgeous garment. But it gave them a lot of rope to do their own thing in a way that American Drag Race just does not anymore. And I think, if nothing else, it gave us a ton of fully realized characters that we could really fall in love with in a way. Like, I feel bad, but I look at every queen that I see on American Drag Race and kind of go, okay, but I know I'm getting an edit so heavy that if they put me off,
Yep.
I'm probably not being fair. But also, if I like them, they could still be horrible, and they just could have gotten that edited out too. Like, I don't know this person at all. Like, we didn't go on a journey together. We went on what Ru wants to trick me into thinking is a journey together. And like, for every beautiful thing that you said about Arizona, I love that. Didn't feel that at all. Didn't have that experience with Arizona. Not in any way where I was like, wish she'd gone home first, but where I was just like, you talk so passionately about really, really loving her, and she just was not a queen that I connect. I'm perfectly happy to see her in the top 4. I don't think there's anything bad about that. She just wasn't who I was going on the journey with. For me, it was much more Vinas and Brigiding, and you know, to a certain extent, Suki too. But for those queens, like, I really felt like I went on the journey, the good and the bad. Like, Venus at times, again, like I said, being kind of mean. It's a different thing where I'm like, I saw those moments and they didn't feel edited to give a villain edit. No. They felt real, and like they make me a little unsure of this person that I really liked. But then, like, her just incredible look, the other look,
like 90210 villain, not Disney villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Tori, you mentioned the dwarf look, which I absolutely loved. The cacao leaves. For one thing, that look from her was amazing. And made Pangina freak the fuck out, which was also a great one. Like, the fact that
Pangina, Marina, we had such great judges.
The fact that this show also just had a moment where one of the judges stood up and was like screaming because she loved a contestant. So again, just Ru would never let that happen. Ru would have Bruno drag a celebrity guest out if they ever did that.
Poor Joel McHale and those hair plugs.
Yeah.
It was so fun all the way through. And also that cacao assignment was so brave and better than anything we give in American drag. Like, so much more connected to any kind of culture. I mean, I know it's just fucking cacao leaves, but like, we have no pride of anything that we produce in this country on American Drag Race. And it was just so cool to see them offer this as a challenge.
And I want to compare the reverence and the skill and thought that was put into this challenge in comparison to, well, we got in episode 2 of UK where it was rate a bunch of old props from the crap closet, slap something together, and like, even that's supposed to be like Drag Race history, as it were. And it kind of feels like that wasn't treated with the same deference that something like this was. Like, everyone took all the challenges pretty darn seriously on this one.
Nobody showed up in a Freddy
I said at
costume.
the time when we were talking about the craft challenge, like, I was partially glad because of how Drag Race is and how they edit stuff, that it wasn't a criterion that they reference this, that they like use the materials in any way to reference where they came from, or like that, you know, it as far as they were concerned, it was literally just material. The fact that it was from season 2, the fact that a particular queen might have worn it, none of that was factored into the challenge. None of them put it into their look, and they were not judged on it, which I was happy about, because I thought it would become a nonsense judging point where somebody who made an amazing look and like actually tried to reference it was told, I didn't get that from your look, you're in the bottom. And then I would just be screaming at my TV screen. But, you know, the other side of that is exactly as you said, Kevin, like, it was kind of treated like, oh yeah, here's some junk, make something out of it, when it actually is material that you could be somewhat reverent of. I just no longer trust that group of people to offer that opportunity to the cast members and turn it into something meaningful. And by contrast, these judges, these producers, this crew seemed really dedicated in a lot of ways to offering the contestants platforms and opportunities to do something that would seem meaningful and would feel meaningful for the contestants, for the audience, for the whole experience.
And
sponsored by Bingo Plus.
Actually, yeah, and I'm so glad you said sponsored by Bingo Plus, because can I tell you the thing that made me kind of cry a few times? I had to do so much research to understand this beautiful culture, because it's just not brought to me here in America. We just don't get Pinoy and Pinay culture appropriately here. I had to learn that part of the reason that our Pinay queens switch between English and Tagalog is that they are taught the thing to do is say your feelings the best way you can. So whatever language is the one you express those thoughts in the most beautifully would be best. And I can't stop thinking about girls like Yara, who the ability to express herself beautifully was treated as a weakness. And like, I long for I guess every time I see Arizona, I just fall in love again. I swear to God, I just think she is the most perfect. I just wish that every edition gave girls the opportunity to express themselves in the language that fits them best. I sometimes found myself a little frustrated with the AI dubbing, because there were things that didn't get right, and so.
Oh, you listened on the dubbing.
I'm sorry, we had the scroll. I'm sorry, we didn't listen. We watched.
Okay, yeah, you had subtitles.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I didn't. The subtitles were sometimes wrong. The AI subtitles were sometimes kind of jank, and so I didn't get what I needed from these beautiful contestants expressing themselves. But getting the opportunity to see Suki Doll assimilate other languages was like, as a teacher who has had students that immediately assimilate everything you say and repeat it back to you, we're like, no, you're smarter than me, get out of here. I think Suki showed a polyglottinous ability to respect other queens so natively, so organically. And the fact that we have always defined American Drag Race contestants as disadvantaged by the production language barrier, and this show made no such mistake. I maybe wonder if now I'm saying it should go to Suki, because like, I maybe feel like she in many ways exemplified everything I love about Drag Race, everything I love about victory, everything I love about growing and learning. But I would like to marry Arizona Brandy, so I really want her to win, because I would like us to have the 2 million pesos. So, because I'm going to marry her. Look at her. How could I not marry her? She's beautiful.
Gorge.
She's everything.
And becoming your fashion queen.
Oh my God. And like, I genuinely loved her ugly fashion too. That the like Fran Fine leopard print shit she wore that one episode. It was horrible. But it was horrible in a way that I loved. It was horrible in a way that, like, I horribly love Nyong Bella from UK's her clock of London. I thought it was terrible, but I thought it was brilliant, and like I loved it. I thought everything Arizona wore was like neon fast food culture brilliant. She could convince me that she's a great time at a Universal park while the rest of them were doing Disney, and that's still a day trip I'm gonna take, baby. So also she sang. I loved it. I don't know. Oh, I agree. Arizona's B&W was really handsome.
Really handsome.
I was frustrated that Venus's won because I thought Venus's was very sweet, but of the three, I felt I saw the least into her soul. I saw a good moment here, a joyful moment. KEVO, please.
I do want to say, this is one of those things where this was a moment where I really did see Venus's vulnerability. And I think that is something that I really agree with TK, where there is still something endearing for however crazy this girl gets and needing the power of Christ to compel her contestants. You know what? Sherry Shepherd didn't pay her parking tickets because she thought she was going to get raptured. So there's people at higher pay grades who are doing weirder things, but like her genuine holding back tears with her hope and excitement during this photo shoot. No, I don't think she should have won for this photo, for sure. But it was a moment among many where I did see that this isn't one of those, I'm going to win because I'm better than everyone else. There's a genuine hope. Her talking about feeling self-conscious about her lips growing up. There's so many things where she made it very clear that she's a lot underneath. And like NICO said, a lot of this is about redemption, and a lot of it was about girls getting to show multiple sides of themselves. And I really felt that.
I thought it was really beautiful that I always thought that Venus kind of looked like Selena in drag. I felt like she really captured. So as a child, I literally would, it's just such an embarrassing thing, but the only real connection I had to my Cuban heritage as a child was thinking that by listening to Selena, I was being more Spanish, and I would sit on the floor and cry and be like, why did Yolanda shoot her? And so like as a little gay boy,
Yolanda?
Who wants to be Yolanda? As a little gay boy, I saw Selena everywhere. And when I saw her here, I was like, no, I'm blind. And then I saw online, a lot of people thought so, and I thought that was amazing. And then she showed us Mariah. And then she showed us 1,000 other beautiful shades. And so this moment did that, beautiful black and white photo showed us the real woman underneath, but like or the real boy underneath, because he was being very boyish and very honest about his childhood in that moment. But like one of the things that I will not take from Venus, even if we maybe thought she came across kind of rough, girl had the talent to back it up. That was like,
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna bring the bill to the table, when you pull out the wad of cash, it's hot.
Although I do have a question. Regardless of the reverence and loving the choice, did you think that Mariah look was good?
Yes. Can I actually tell you why?
Yeah.
The thing I love about Mariah is the extreme exaggeration of conceptual identity. Mariah doesn't just wear a red sparkly dress. She wears a red sparkly dress with hip pads. Mariah herself deformed the idea of Mariah's glamour into Mariah's glamour drag. And I felt like somebody saying, I want to take that. This was for me the same thing as Roxy doing it. This was for me a beautiful expression of an over-the-top woman beautifully.
Is that the makeover?
Yeah. Although I wanted Dynasties to win.
What's that?
I wanted Dynasty to win.
Yeah, for me, it was the makeup almost was really the bigger problem. I did they were my favorite, but I mean they have my favorite. They have Venus, so like I didn't want them to do poorly, but I did think that was actually the bottom. For me, I would have put that.
I think they thought so too, based on
they're in rainbow makeup, but they're wearing unbelievably Emancipation of Mimi album. It's all over the place. But.
Yeah, these guys had such a hilarious concept.
Thank you.
The Dynasty, like the fact that they were in the bottom really blew my mind.
This was I don't want to make accusations, but I very firmly believe that once they figured out how these teams were going down, there was no way that Bernie and Arizona were walking out of this. At this point, they decided we have to have 2 Filipinos in the bottom so that we have to send home a Filipino queen. I think this was the one point where production really went, it's not just a thumb on the scale, it's a full on like slam it to the ground.
It's me in college trying to weigh my chicken.
And that is the only thing I sort of, it's not even like I have questions about it. This show, like, versus the world always tend to favor the host country, and
the host season sisters, or the host season sisters.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a bad thing. The thing about this show in particular is it kind of felt like they were a little more honest about the fact that the Panay girls were kind of a sisterhood. And they were looking out for each other a little bit, but then also, like, we did get to the episode after Kitty was let go, where one of the girls says, like, the international girls aren't bringing it as much as we are. And I don't think it's 100% wrong, because that is also followed up by that I forget who says it, but that person
Khianna.
also is like, yeah, Khianna's like, it. That said, Kitty should have stayed.
Khianna is a Ru girl. What is she doing here?
Yeah. There was a real recognition that Kitty, Yuhua, and Suki were quite good. And I think they earned the respect of everybody there. But this show also, you know, if it adheres to one thing about the RuPaul's Drag Race format, and the thing that RuPaul says, which again I think has been lost from American Drag Race, is like, you can be on top in the previous episode and have a good track record, fail in the following episode, be in the bottom, and go home, and they will just
all
send
you have
home.
to do is make a perfume and have it stink, and you get
there you go
right home.
There you go, you're out.
Sorry.
You know, Ru used to really say that with a lot of pride, like regardless of what happened before, you know, if you do poorly in the episode, you're gonna lip sync for your life. If you lose a lip sync, you're going home. And the actual calculus on American Drag Race is so much different than that, actually. But in this show, we saw on more than one occasion, and not just with the international girls, that you could be doing really perfectly fine and well and have literally won the previous episode. And if you did badly in this episode, you are in the bottom. And if you lose the lip sync, you go home. And that's just it.
Arizona's first 5 episodes are high, win, bottom 2, win, bottom 2. Like, it is.
That's my girl.
she was fighting. She's fighting. She's a fighter. She'll come.
Speaking of amazing, ASDSS, we love that you are hanging in the chat with us. Let us know all your feelings. We maybe keep ones that you would feel weird about being immortalized to YouTube. But we are so excited to talk about this season with people. I don't know. I feel like I got lucky getting to be a part of this season. I don't know. I fell in love with Khianna. Guys, Khianna is a Ru girl, right? Like, Global 2 has to have Khianna, right? Like, she is one of the most unbelievably powerful girls I have ever seen. The fact that she went home here, she went home on a look that I feel suffered from hyper excellence syndrome. So for those of you who don't know, Mariah Carey is half of my personality. It's Mariah Carey in Final Fantasy. And so Mariah Carey released a new album, and I noticed that there's just a little less whistle register this album. And I still think it's incredible, but it's notable that it's come down from her last Christmas album even. And that's like 2 years ago. KEVO, when was the iTunes special again? The Apple special we watched like 2-3 years ago, right? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I noticed that she hit a few fewer high notes, and it not changed how I felt about the album, but it changed how I felt about what she had done previously. I worry that Khianna's native excellence, the power of what she brings just by being Khianna, made that first look so incredible for a first timer that this second iteration was judged harsher than was fair as a result.
Why would you pick that one though?
Genuinely, this is like my
Exactly.
goddamn horror dreams. I think it's amazing.
It's gorgeous. No, this is gorgeous. The first outfit was gorgeous. Why do you pick a gorgeous outfit? Pick a good outfit. If you really are like, I just think I'm so great that I gotta go crazy. I think she really shot for the stars. This is a killer outfit, and on any other episode she'd have been fine. But you get towards the end and we're splitting hairs and picking nits apparently.
Right. But if we're gonna split hairs, especially on this episode.
Oh, Kevin.
No, go, Kevin.
We're having like
if we're
fun
gonna split
flags,
hairs,
though.
especially. Sorry. If we're gonna split hairs, especially on this episode, I just want to point to Venus because this was insane. This room was insane. This this con corner was insane. Nothing prepared. It was really weird, and that was where I felt like.
I wonder what Mistress thought of this Sasha Colby meet and greet. God, can you imagine handing your actual rival the greatest soundbite of all time? Can you imagine if someone else had said, "Hey, I think that RuPaul, you know what, girl? You think you're in a drag race?" Like, she handed Sasha Colby the win with that line. And here's Sasha Colby just absolutely being the everything we need her to be. And like, I wonder if someone like Venus, being so incredibly rehearsed, one of the most impressive queens we saw this season, I wonder if being with one of the winners was a little tricky. I also just want to read this message. Thank you so much for putting it up, Kevo. AS says, one of the podcasts here in PH, Khianna actually talked about this lip sync for your life. She actually can take out that costume easily, but she chose not to do it. It looked like she kind of gave up. You know, we all make choices in that moment. We all have that decision where we say, I think I'm not going to do that extra step. I really love that perspective because I think Khianna, she's so young. She's so talented. I just want to see who she's going to be when she's a grown-up queen and like gets to reign. Like, that's really going to be incredible.
And she's straight off of her season as well. This is the back-to-back for her. So there's plenty more Khianna to come, I'm sure. You know,
she was one of those, I think she's the Susie Toot of this season. The person who you're just not sure how she's not in the finale. I think that this was a season of girls that no one let me down. I'm sure the girls let themselves down, but there wasn't a week where I was like, what are you thinking? You showed up in a bear costume, and you showed up in a bear costume. Why are so many people coming in stupid felt costumes? Oh, my UK race.
It's a bear dance.
It's a bear.
Oh, that's why we're not talking about it. We need a week to recover.
I need a minute. Because I'm pretty sure Viola had exactly my season. And so when she comes back for UK versus the world and does super great, I'm going to be like, girl, you and me. My violin is literally next to me. So you and me, girl. But I think the other thing I need to say about this Final Four, that music video is probably my favorite music video since the All-Star single take. I don't remember the last song that the girls had such a good time. First of all, I don't believe this is technically hyperpop. I think it's pop with hyper elements, but like hyperpop is a certain sense of deformity that we can't internationally
That was
sell.
for UK.
Well, what?
That was for
UK.
Oh, I was saying the walkthrough, the single all the way through was Kitty Girl. From
Yeah, we're saying the hyper pop song from this week was on.
Oh
UK.
my god! Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
And you are
Thank
100% correct, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yes, we are. I thought that Reina was the most amazing thing ever because Arizona Brandy said it the best when they were like, and Reina. I was like, yeah, I have no fucking clue what that is. And then they come out and it's four of the coolest girls. I don't know. I feel really lucky to have seen this season, and I feel really lucky that this is the final four. There's no one I would have excluded from the final four from the season, but these four are creating such an unbelievable dynamic. They're giving me something really special. I haven't seen four girls this special since one of them fought like their dad.
Fantastic Bewitched reference.
Sailor Me.
Don't talk about witchcraft in front of Vinas.
She doesn't like it.
We were talking a little bit backstage before we started about the fact, though, that this was a slightly weird cut up of events to get us to the finale episode, having all the girls come back this week and do a very heartfelt reunion. Sort of, it's not even that it leaves it off the table for next week. It's just if they all come back next week too, it's going to feel a little less special.
What girls came back? Those were the four. Those were the Reina girls.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm
back.
just saying, like having everybody there felt like a.
Like having such a big event makes the next episode, even if you bring back the other girls. Like you had four amazing international girls come in and debut a song that felt so cool and so I'm completely with you. It's sort of like, it's not that these girls won't feel like a good homecoming, but it's just not the spectacle.
Yeah.
And this is where I kind of wish we'd been better aware of the fact that this was mostly a prelude to the finale. Because if we that's ultimately what this episode was, and that's fine, and we'll know that when we go back and rewatch and in retrospect. But at the time, it was just an episode, and so exactly, how is the finale going to feel as big? Oh, well, now this is kind of just part one of the finale, isn't it? So now it feels like a 2-hour finale, and that's cool, and I can appreciate that. But I kind of wish you'd just told us all of that going into it. You know, they had this really long, like, Kiki looking back on every single girl from this season in this scene. And, like, it wasn't quite when they were giving Jonah retrospective on Project Runway and we thought she had died. But it was, again, like a season recap on a penultimate, not an actual finale. So...
I know for me... I knew going into this was the penultimate episode. I know we were getting 10 episodes. I knew this was the second before the end. For me, this felt very much like every other penultimate episode that we have on American Drag Race, which is that it's the finale for the girls in the room, kind of. They all go away for 6 months and then come back to film the lip sync Lollapalooza and the finale. And so we do have a lot of, well, who would, let's look back and during Untucked times. And so I wasn't as distracted by that. I think it felt very much like just the judges came backstage and hung out because thank you, Andrew. This is like the last big moment that they'll get to do that, because usually in the finale we don't go backstage and hang out while the judges deliberate as much.
And, Tori, I really love your bringing up the judges here. I want to say that one of the things that I loved about Mama Pau was that she Tori, there's no other word.
This is a very hot judge, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very hot judge.
She hosted like a host. I'm unfortunately of a certain generation where, if you're asking me the single most important war that America ever fought, it was the late night wars. It's Leno, Letterman, and Joan Rivers fighting for Carson's seat. And I would have given it to Mama Pau. I thought that this was how you host a show. Fashion, intellect, cunning, quick repartee in the room. This was a woman who could sit next to Ru, and Ru would be like, I love that you're here with me. Or maybe Ru would be like, I wish you would leave because of the competition. But, like, I thought Mama Pau escalated the show, elevated the show, and took the girls somewhere. I love Brooklyn, like, as a performer. I don't think Brooklyn's a host. I think Brooklyn is a performer who hosts. She is so talented. She's so amazing at what she does. But I've seen Brooklyn dance. My life is different. Like, I saw her dance in person, and, like, it changed my life.
Brooklyn's a good side host.
Yes.
A quick quip, a look cute, etc. That's where she shines. When she has to be in the center holding it all together, she loves chaos too much. She's not interested in finding the order in the episode and bringing us all back to center.
You completely get me. It's not that she's not an incredible host, it's that she loves chaos too much for a reality show to function.
Did I just hear someone quit the show? Did I just hear
Canada
someone
really
quit the show?
prides itself on having the fully democratic judges panel.
Yes,
where
exactly.
you know it's the three of them always in cahoots, and that's like kind of, you know, even other franchises have a judges panel that feels a little bit more like they're sort of all equals and the final decision isn't mother's to make. But Canada's, I think, is the one where really like they are the three heads of the Hydra. Like they're all the same kind of Cerberus. Thank you, not the Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
They're all doing the same thing, and I think that's what makes one of the things that makes Drag Race Canada really fun and special. But I do love seeing a queen that could give Ru a run for her money. And honestly, when you brought up Global, there's a big part of me that I would love to see Ru show up and, you know, mentor a little bit, but I don't necessarily want her being the primary host.
I love this. Keep going. Cook.
No, I mean, like,
yeah.
Mama Pow would be a fantastic example. I wish Pangina had never hosted or had never competed in a franchise, because when I first saw Drag Race Thailand, I was like, oh, she's already there. She's already she's already mother. Like, she doesn't need to go before, and then for her to get sent away by Jimbo like
wasn't it Blue?
Oh, Blue, sorry, not Jimbo.
It's Blue, because and now she's on 911 Nashville.
What?
Who?
Because the stripper on 911 Nashville's name is Blue.
Oh, that's right.
And it's really funny because his mom is Leanne Rimes, and her first single was Blue.
There you go.
And so it's very funny.
I keep calling him Captain Smoke Show. We'll talk about that in another episode. But yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of other people. I forget her name, but the host of Drag Race, like, there's just other hosts of other Drag Race franchises that, to me, if we're calling it Global All-Stars, I'm just sort of like, this is now a culture that represents so much more than just America.
Yeah.
And I would sort of love to see that reflected in the judges booth. Just especially because all that energy, all those things we were talking about that I just feel like are so tightly controlled and contained because of American Drag Race, I want to let the buttons out a little bit.
I just want to say I love the idea of an Untucked for international shows. I love seeing the girls get to be who they are. And I agree. Mama Pow is an unbelievable host. She's nice. She is funny. I'm glad the queens feel that way. I love that she loves to play along. You know, TK, to your point, I would love to see Ru only show up for the finale of Global.
Yeah.
And Mama Pow would be an incredible host.
Yeah.
Pangina would be an incredible host as well. Marina would be an incredible host. Sasha would be an incredible host. You've got girls ready to, you know, who would be a great host for International Monet. But anyway, that's just me having dreams. I would love to take a moment, and I would love to just maybe say something nice about every girl. Just for a second. KEVO, do you have their original looks from the image is that they launched for the season? I just want to say something really beautiful about every girl, because this was such an unbelievably talented season. And like I said, I feel really lucky that I got to be a part of it. I missed out on being a part of the incredible season 5. I missed out on being a part of season 10, but I got to be a part of season 15, and that was incredible. So I want to start with my wife, Arizona Brandy. She makes me smile Like it's she.
This will
just,
be alphabetical.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
She brings me joy. I fell in love with her from the second she came on screen. I think what she has is an indomitable spirit, like a child who refuses to give up, and it made my heart feel warmer as the months are getting colder. So Arizona Brandy, girl, just marry me already. I just think you're so incredible. I want you to win so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think she just has such a genuine, kind, and warm energy. And that's such a rare thing to take you to the top 4. When you really get up there, having run the full gamut of emotions and not, especially like if someone like me can watch the show and not go, okay, this is a lot. By the end, I think you've charmed everyone in a very impressive way.
Tori, I would love to know how you feel about our iced tea queen, Arizona.
I mean, I love her. I love a campy queen. I think she's so fun and so sweet. I think her sass levels are off the charts, and I love that for her because it makes her a very memorable talking head.
Jojo, you watch me fall in love with this girl, and I cannot wait to meet her in person because I'm gonna love her. Jojo, how did you feel about Arizona?
I love her sick vape tricks.
Did you try one yet?
No, and I never will.
That's a
But she
shame.
does it, I won't.
However, speaking of the Tony Hawk of vape tricks,
Because I have.
KEVO, tell me, how do you feel about your competition for our marriage certificate?
I mean, I'm definitely not the Tony Hawk of vape tricks, except maybe how I dress. Speaking of how I dress, the fashion on this one, not just drag, but this shirt is so Jonah. Just seems like a very sweet person, and so it's hard not to root for Arizona having gone this far. Maybe cool it on the vaping just a little bit, though. Gosh, worried about you. Worried about your health, sweetheart.
I love it. I love talking about these girls. I love how much I love this season. It's so exciting. Let's talk about our next girl. And this is, I believe, Bernie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bernie's honesty was one of the most real things I've ever seen. Evidently, okay, hold on. I asked her about that nose vape trick. It hurts. Okay, so thank you. ASDSS, you're my everything right now.
It doesn't hurt.
So
that
stop it!
Bernie,
If it's weed, it doesn't hurt.
That's
as
the
much.
kids.
weed never hurts. So Bernie's beauty was so exquisite, like a porcelain doll at all times, so incredibly careful, so incredibly delicate, and yet she had the spirit of a fighter. It's so hard to be delicate and a fighter, but I really saw it in her, and it's so exciting to get to see a queen translate like that. It come across language barriers, because Bernie was one of the queens who used the least English in her talking heads, and yet I knew who she was, and I just feel really grateful.
You gotta love a high energy queen, and just the tiny high energy girls. Your little Kenya Michaels. Those are the ones that just bring you some of the best moments and some of the most like drag joy.
For sure. I mean, it's always lovely having our trans queens on, and I think she represented herself, her new evolution of self so beautifully. I think that I'm still your Bernie was just such a lovely ending for her. And so I love her. I thought she was definitely the heart of the first half of the season for sure.
Jojo, you feel the burn?
The burn. She is someone to me who proves that comedy is a global language, because even though I could not understand what she was saying without subtitles, I think she was the funniest person there 90% of the time. I also love that she's trying to plead her case to Suki Doll, and she's like, but I don't speak English, so like they couldn't translate to one another. But she's amazing. I adore her.
Kevo, how'd you feel about our unbelievable doll, Bernie?
Another one, was just so sweet. I don't know that necessarily she made such an impression on me as to make it to the final. But really just such a sweet lady, such amazing energy.
All right, let's see our next queen that we can't wait to crown with some kind of title. One of the things that was so great about Slaysian, I honestly had not gotten to learn about a lot of new queens in a long time, because we follow so many of the queens that showed up in Global from the things they were pulled from, or we had watched an episode of Germany or anything here. Brigiding was, God, it's like finding out, it's like being a fan of Mariah Carey and Jessica Simpson and finding out there's also Christina Aguilera. Like finding out there was this talent hiding in an area that I already knew was so talented was crazy. Brigiding she is the entity. Like there is something about her. Her spirit is unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one because there's so much that you can say about her that is amazing, but she's just gorgeous. And unfortunately I'm gonna end up saying the exact same thing about Vinas. Like the two of them just as like peas in a pod and sisters on the show have been really, really fun. They are kind of the Roxy and Detox of this season, and I just have a lot of fun watching them be excellent drag queens and just be absolutely stunning, delivering incredible looks every episode. But yeah, I mean, out of drag too, he's just so cute. Come on.
Yeah.
Super cute. I think I was shaded from Brigiding's brilliance in the beginning because I was so I mean, when Khianna walked in, I thought she was going to win the whole thing, and Vinas being so amazing, I didn't see Brigiding until some of the smoke had cleared, and I think she's been just killing this across the board. I think she's so sweet and so kind, but so focused. I think she is going to be a very difficult one to beat, and is definitely in my final two.
Speaking of difficult to beat, Jojo, you are a #1 Drag Race correspondent here, and what are your thoughts on Ms. Brigiding? I just want to be clear with you guys, he has not shut up about her.
Oh, I adore her. She's my pick to win. I think she's so funny. I love her drag. Even though I have not seen season 1 yet, I can tell that she's had this insane glow up that I think is just kind of a little bit awe-inspiring. So for that narrative, for that kind of storytelling, I think she deserves to win. That's my winner right here.
I love that.
The sentiment that I most want to echo from everyone is definitely a lot of hard work. She definitely is super dedicated, and it shows for sure.
Okay, so this next queen. I want to just say I come from an unfair, over-attached to Spanky, kind of very down-under place. Spanky, I love you so much. Hey. I don't really come for down-under queens as a rule, so I'm not going to this time. Ivory did not have the world's greatest showing in her Down Under season, and I don't know that she gave a global level here, but I know who she is even more, and I'm not done watching her story. I think she is a book that I want to keep reading the next page, and I hope that when I get to see her, it is without the trappings of Drag Race, because she's an amazing queen. She's just maybe not a Drag Race queen, and there's nothing wrong with that. How many artists are your favorite artist of all time and they have 0 Grammys? What's wrong with that? I love Ivory, and I don't think she needs Drag Race to be incredible.
Yeah, that was something I was saying earlier in the episode, and it's something we've talked about. We were talking about last week with UK. Like, Drag Race in some ways is starting to become the showcase for the girls, so that you know who you're going to follow where when they're off of Drag Race, and you sort of stop caring so much about what's going on at the show and who did the best and who's great. You're just seeing like, oh, that's a funny girl. I want to make sure that I, see if she's doing comedy shows. Oh, those two can sing. I want to watch out for an album. And you just kind of start looking at it more that way. You're absolutely right. Ivory is one, maybe not super cut out for Drag Race, but I will say, for one thing, she is an incredible social media queen. Her Instagram is well worth following. She's extremely funny. She's really she is a people's girl. She feels very approachable. And the thing I really want to praise her for more than anything is getting the fucking edit that I hate the most, which is like, let's delve deeply into the worst parts of your personal life before we send your ass packing home. And it's just truly a diabolical edit. Don't do that anymore, Drag Race. It's so terrible. But I mean, the way that she was so open about, the death of her mother and experiencing the death of her mother and grieving the death of her mother while becoming a Drag Race queen, pretty incredible. And not that one shouldn't be emotional when they do that, or that anybody can't react however they want. But we've had queens with similar experiences who sort of can only tell you what happened, and then they just start to sob so much that the story really can't go anywhere else, and we just have this human moment. This is a person that kept her composure and just talked through the entire thing and really gave a lot of info and a lot of, told a lot lot of her own story.
A real Tia Coffee moment.
Truly.
Yeah.
Which is not an easy thing to do. I love Tia Coffee so much.
And for Eurovision coverage.
Yes. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's just something that I'm immensely grateful for her for taking the time and giving to the audience, because it's not anything that anybody is owed.
I think she is such a I think the great testament to how she did on the show is the fact that she seems to be hanging out with the Philippine queens afterwards on her social media. I think that says something to how well she connected with them and the sisterhood that they built. I know she is one of the queens who is physically, locationally closest to that country. But it is something to be seen, and she just seems so sweet, and like a lot of bad things just keep happening, and sometimes that's the case. And I think the fact that we've gotten such great glimpses of her is to be lauded for someone who is just barely dragging themselves out of grief.
Oh God, you guys are making me love her even more. Jonah, keep the love train going.
I adore this queen. I think she's just somebody who had an unfortunate first couple of weeks that just didn't really know what to do to translate. But I wish we had to see her again. I thought she brought an interesting perspective. I love Down Under as a series, so I was really happy to see that it got represented. I thought she did great. Sometimes it just doesn't shake out the way you want to, but she didn't even look bad when she went home, which you can't really say for a lot of people in design challenges. So Good for you, gal. Hope to see her again.
KEVO, before you go, I just want to say it's so great to hear from ASDSS that the international queens are currently in the Philippines and are doing great. That elevates my spirit. And speaking of elevating my spirit, KEVO, how did you feel about Ivory Glaze?
She was gorge, and it was great to see Down Under represented. I miss it. I miss Reese. So hopefully we find out what he's doing soon, little puppet man. But yeah, I'm really glad to hear that so many queens are doing so well, and that she's so ingratiated herself with the rest of the queens from this culture, because I think that is a huge part of what all of this is about. That's what the international seasons are supposed to be about, is strengthening this RuPaul web.
The next girl, I am just going to give you guys a couple of words. Global winner number 2. That's all
think
I have on Khianna.
Any of those words had the letter K in them.
Oh my God, you
Ooh.
stupid boy. That is the best joke. I think Khianna could win global. I don't think it would even be hard. I think she would show up, be funny, and Ru would be like, I'm in love with your heart. This was one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. This queen could change drag.
Yeah, I mean, just great attitude, both like, you know, in confessionals, really just like somebody I was charmed by, but then on stage and as a queen was somebody who really could give a lot of face, could give a lot of nasty looks, could show you exactly what she was feeling in a way that just like, you really felt like there is the person and then there's the character, and both of them are awesome, and both of them are
like Alaska.
Yeah,
that level of excellence.
Yeah, and both of them are just really worth following, getting to know. So I think you're right. I would love to see her on many international, and I hope we do get to see her somewhere soon.
Yeah, when they said like she feels like a young Sasha Colby, I felt that. She waltzed on, and I was like, oh, this is our winner. Thank you for showing up at the end to tie it all in with a bow and let us know you're the winner. And I think that she's such a powerhouse strength, and I think it's just that it needs time and seasoning, and she's gonna come back and blow us out of the water on whichever show she ends up dominating next.
Jonah, what you got?
Classic, creative, all with K's. I adore this queen from the first episode. I was smitten. I really thought from that first episode, I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna win. Oh my god, we just saw the winner in the first episode. Mm-hmm. And I think similar to Isis on Canada versus the World 1, I think coming back so quickly off of your season might have just been a little too tiring for someone. Some people could do a workhorse thing where they just immediately go back, but I think for most people in general, a break would have been good. Even just a year to just like not have to get into competition mindset, because these days are grueling. Number one, drag is not comfortable. Drag is not easy to be around in. They're standing in drag for 6 to 8 hours for filming, and take on that the mental toll of having to do challenges, having to succeed, having to be XYZ, whatever. It's a lot. And so to do it back to back, I imagine maybe wasn't the best for her. But she's incredible. She's amazing. I love the way she performs. I think Ru would piss herself watching her perform. The way that she splats on her back, like the amount of air this woman gets, I'm a little concerned that like I think she's a fairy. I think she has wings. I love her.
A bird bone. She's got those Simone Biles bird bones.
Bird bones.
Bird bones.
Careful, her bones.
Oh, that hurt. There's a 30 joke.
No one gets her references. The real trouble with how wide this net has become and how huge this network has become with all of these internationals and all-stars is that you kind of can't have the guarantee of coming on one of these and winning right away. We've seen that you kind of need to be put through your paces sometimes. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. I think that she deserves a crown, and I want to see her fight for it.
Yes, I want to see her fight. Someone I never want to see fight again. I just want to see them have an incredible life. Je t'aime, chatron, j'ai hâte de te voir. I love you, Kitty. I genuinely appreciate your fashion. I love you. God, this was just not what I wanted for you. I brag about being Cuban because it's a brag. But I took French, and like the French language, French artistry. God, Kitty, I got you, and I just was sad to see you not do better. You're just so great.
Top, safe, win, out. That's a
unreasonable.
banger track
That's
record.
crazy.
And again, like that's the heart of Drag Race. Going out like that, I think, is actually. I know it was early, and I know that sucks because you don't get to show your whole package, and you want to stay longer. Of course, you want to be there for more, but it is what a way to go! What a way to play the game and experience the game and show people that you're here to do exactly that. And I think she was so like fashion forward, and I do think what a signature that the other girls, a lot of them said, like, a bunch of these international girls were not at our level, but Kitty should have stayed this week. I thought she really left her mark.
Yeah. And I think this was I think one of the things about Kitty is that it was such a, you could really tell that this was not based on track record, that this was not based on so much how not well she had been doing, because she had been doing quite well. I think this was a complete loss on a social game, and it was a shame to see. When I saw that, because I don't watch immediately. I don't watch at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays, but I sometimes get filtered through who gets eliminated, and then we'll watch the sneak peek sometimes. And I did that in the opposite order, and I was like, how did Miss Kitty get eliminated after she won? And then I saw her pull that lipstick out, and I went, oh no, that's how you got home. And I think that's a shame. I think she's got a lot to show, and I think she's going to do quite well based on how this all worked out for her.
Jonah, talk to us about our Kitty Space.
Kitty Space, I really like this queen, and I know it sounds like I was stalling to find my words. I was not. I adore this queen. I think she's pretty great. I thought she brought a perspective that I think was kind of needed, talking about being of Asian descent in a country where that's not prominent and when you're not surrounded by Asian culture. She herself was adopted and kind of identifying a little bit more with French than her Asian heritage, but being excited to explore it. I think that was a perspective that was really beautiful, and I wanted that to be explored more. I just kind of wish that the show gave her a little more credence, because I think she's great. I think she's incredible. So I'm happy we got to see more of her. I'm happy she got to have a challenge win. That's still always the exciting thing about a show that's international or brings people back, is that they get to kind of give people wins who didn't have a challenge win before. Mm-hmm. That's always exciting to me, because it's they just got the first challenge win. That's amazing.
I love that.
I love you pointing to her talking about her culture and using this as an opportunity to get better in touch with her heritage. Because again, that's one of the things that means the most to us when we see it on any iteration of this show. Any international, any domestic, any culture. It's so important that people get to talk about these things that are important to them, even if it doesn't get as singularly highlighted or enough time as we would hope. Just being able to say it at all, that is the first step forward to more communication. And we're always communicating with these queens. They're on social media, and so the fact that she can now be more encouraged to talk about that aspect of her life, I really hope that she takes that opportunity, because I think that's so great, and it's one of the gifts of this franchise. That and our love of trains.
Okay, first of all, there are not enough trains that we get to talk about all the time, but I am so glad that you said that, because I don't know if you guys know, so I am weirdly obsessed with Luxembourg. Luxembourg has free public transportation for everyone, but also there are 3 national languages of Luxembourg, and I feel like we lost out on Madame Yoko, who is actually looks herself, and this was a queen that I felt like maybe suffered from the generic, you can't have a mustache in your confessionals and also stay around. I don't know. I was a little bummed out by this elimination. I thought that she really seemed like an amazing queen. I felt like she could have given us a great season. But Madam Yoko, it was really wonderful having you for a hot minute, and I look forward to seeing whatever I get of you in the future.
Yeah, it's never easy being the first out, because we unfortunately don't have as much that we can say because we just didn't get to go on the journey with you. But there was not a single thing where I was like, "It's good that she's the first out." I would want to. I don't need to hear any more from her, and that is something that happens on Drag Race. Like there are girls who go and you're like, "That's fine," and that doesn't mean you wouldn't want to see them at a bar, wouldn't want to be impressed by them later, but it happens on the show and you're just like, that's okay. This was one of those. This was absolutely one where, unfortunately somebody did have to go first, but I did kind of mark that I would have loved to have seen more.
Agreed. Like this was definitely one of those where I was like, oh no, this was not the decision I would have made, but I think it's a shame. It's always a shame when someone goes home first, particularly when it is on, we actually have an elimination first episode, which is something that we do rarely see these days. So that always feels a little bit extra hard. So.
Love it. Jonah, what you got?
I feel so bad for Madam Yoko. Like we just keep saying, being the pork chop, being the person eliminated is not easy. Truthfully, any competition show. Least of all, I put Drag Race as one of the harder shows to go out, to be like one of the earlier outs, because it kind of just blows a little bit. She seems like she has a lot to promise. I wonder if she would ever come back for like a Versus the World, maybe in front of Ru or in Canada. That might have helped maybe a little bit more, but I appreciate, again, similar to Kitty Space, someone who was talking about their identity and feeling that kind of like pull of this is what I'm born with, this is how I identify and look like. It's not what I see around me, it's not the culture I grew up in. And I wish we got to see a little bit more of her story. I think she got a little bit of the short end of the stick when it came to that Untucked, that episode. All I will say is, she's somebody who I am very interested in. I would love to see her in Belgium, just to even get a little bit more of Madame Yoko, and I, hope to see her again in the future.
And if I would want to say something especially about Madame Yoko and the fact that we didn't get more time to know her, it's to kind of echo what Tori said, which was that, gosh, it was disappointing that this is a great opportunity to have a nobody goes home on the first week. Like I've been saying, that's the idea of these international shows, is to get to know these girls and have them bring their culture. And so this would be a show where I would want first 2 episodes with the full cast to give people more time to be seen. But hopefully we hear about a Global All-Stars again sometime soon, or some other Versus the World, and she can get another chance to shine.
So, one time, my mother was at Home Depot and was buying light bulbs, and they were supposed to be on sale, and they weren't. And my mother had a moment after she bought the light bulbs at full price. She smashed them in the bag in the checkout, and that is what I feel happened to Siam Phusri in this season. And I'm saying that because there is no woman I love more than my mother, and I think the most beautiful, incredible woman who ever lived, my mother. Again, you're all wrong if you disagree. I believe that Siam Phusri was in a situation where she was did you just whisper KEVO? Because you're correct. She was I have been judged by my worst day, and I think that is the worst thing that ever happened to me, and I would not want that to ever happen to me again. And Siam Phusri, you are a beautiful, incredible queen, and you should never be judged by your worst day. And I really hope this isn't how people remember you, because you're fantastic.
Listen, that outburst was genuinely less confusing and upsetting than Melinda's with gratitude on Canada. So that's why I keep being like, it's mostly like, it's funny. You got up on a table and yelled. It wasn't even that. We didn't understand what was going on, but it was a lot less charged than we've seen a lot of other interactions. So, you know.
TK, how did you feel about the Forgotten Sanderson sister? Oh, well, try again, because I think she might have put a spell on you.
Yeah, I was just so emotional I had to mute myself. This is the Down Ass Queen. And she also left right at that time. This is an Alyssa Edwards type. This is one of those girls that didn't do bad on Drag Race, did actually quite well, and left in a place. Also, had a win, had lows, had highs. Left in a place where you can't say she didn't get any time, but she wasn't in the top. And now I just feel like hers is a name that I would look for on a tour, and I would be really excited to see. She gave incredible looks. She was right to get the critiques that she got, but her faces look was a fantastic idea, and had it been fully structurally sound and just like slightly more polished, would have been like one of the most memorable looks, like with great execution in Drag Race history. Great heart, just all around a really good, solid queen that I really hope to see working for a long time to come.
Yeah, I think she's got so much heart. I don't know. I wasn't that fazed by her getting up on that table because she wasn't yelling at any of the girls. She was yelling about her futures, and I don't think that that's that aggressive. But I also grew up in a very specific family, so I thought she was great. I thought she was my other guess for who might be able to beat everybody out and make it to the top 5 with these girls. And I think her version of drag was just a little too left of the center that they were looking for, and in a way that wasn't so. I think she suffered from being close but not quite a lot of times, and I think that's unfortunate because I think she has so much to bring, and I think she brought so much of her culture into each and every piece of her runway that it was admirable and just really reflective of who she is.
I agree. I think she's a beautiful queen. I love that she's a drag queen that just more is more. She loves excessiveness, and I appreciate that. She's a maximalist. Mm-hmm. Sure, let's go with that. I think she's an endearing and charming and enjoyable and very fun to watch. I think that she was just kind of having a moment. Like you said, Tori, it's not like she was like being this way towards anyone in particular. She was just kind of having a moment. She took it for herself. Yeah. They're drag queens. Do they not do this all the time anyway? Like, it really was not as big of a deal. I imagine it might have been like a little bit weird or awkward in person, but like, I will not forget, like, when it first started, Yuhua was like, yeah, she like stands up, and then she's like, oh, she's not like doing a little bit.
Oh, something's going on.
Oh no.
Oh, let me, little bit more distance. Let
me sit back down. And yeah, it was just a little weird, but when are we not all a little weird at some point? I hope that like Nico said, I hope she isn't remembered by a bad day that she had. I hope she's doing better if it wasn't, she wasn't the best place for it. I can say this, there are less memorable people on the show, and I don't think we'll ever really kind of forget that.
Nope.
And I want to build on you talking about her being a maximalist, because I also, it's also such minute details, too, on everything that she does. And it's such artistry. And I think, we will hopefully see more from her, because the art is there, and she was great. She was entertaining. That's all you're supposed to be.
And, one of the things that's so important about being entertaining is that I feel like what I was saying earlier, where Suki is so incredible at making other girls look beautiful, feel beautiful, shine. That is such an important part of what Drag Race has become, the sisterhood, the camaraderie. And I feel like Suki really represented an ideal here for me. She is someone whose brand is making other people's outfits in many ways. And she showed up and still had her own identity. That's incredible. So I just think that Suki has really made a name for herself as like the fashion queen, but also managed to really shine.
Yeah, she's a really strong performer too. We didn't talk much about the Rusical, and that's probably okay. But I really did think her performance, she won for that performance, or she was in the top for that performance. And I think she really did do an incredible job. She really did a fantastic Michelle Yeoh adjacent impression and just had really great stage energy, and that was not the only time that she did. Again, just all around a really strong queen, and absolutely won. I would not have bet on her for the top 4, and it was more of like I don't know, she didn't quite stand out from the pack in terms of presence and energy, especially when they were sort of off stage. But then every episode I was like, oh no, she did really well. Oh no, she's really good. Oh no, that's really good. Oh, when you add it all up, like, of course she's supposed to be there. And of course I'm really stoked that it's a top 4 and that it, she was included.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, while I don't know for me personally if I felt that Suki did well enough in that lip sync to stay in comparison to how Venus did, I am very happy to have her in the top 4. I think she's fantastic. I think she is definitely proving that you can be primarily a designing queen and still come out and perform extremely well. And I think that's something that kind of a lot of the super design girls get hit with is you do great work behind the camera, but you don't do it in front of it. And I think she's bringing a lot of really, really great stuff onto the field that is obviously working cross-culturally, internationally, across language barriers. And I think she's just really a really shining example of what these international editions can bring to the forefront.
Jonah, you are positive like Hands Across America handing people a Coke. And you are even incredibly positive on the Canadian queens, how they have performed. You were so positive on Suki Doll. How do you feel about her performance in the season where you were incredibly encouraging?
I was super excited that she got to come back. I think she's an extremely stunning queen. Her eye for fashion, her ability to design and create looks, I think is really kind of unparalleled. Part of the reason why Brooke looks so amazing on Canada's Drag Race is because Suki dresses her. And, Brooke is absolutely gorgeous and stunning, knows how to walk a look. So that helps when your muse is gorgeous. So I was really excited to see what she would do. I think she's kind of brought the fashion every single week, every single episode. It's been kind of incredible seeing her kind of blossom and have an area where she can shine. I was a little nervous of how she was going to do in some of the performance challenges because she wasn't the strongest on Canada 2, but she's done relatively well and good, and I was so surprised and heartwarmed with how well she has been doing. So I'm so happy to see her in the finale. I would have been upset if she didn't make it. I'm really glad that she's the international representation for Drag Race Slaysian Royale, and I think she has a good shot at winning. I adore her.
And speaking of incredible muses, KEVO, how do you feel about Suki Doll?
She's been great. I agree with Tori in that that lip sync wasn't necessarily the clincher. So again, so much of I just wish this had been part 1 of a 2-part finale. I don't know what climactic ending they would have given this episode instead. Maybe they could have, all duked it out for order that they would perform next week for the finale. I don't know, because I get where you want to lip sync at the end. But, she earned her place. And like Jonah said as well, I'm glad that she is the international queen
for this finale, and I'm excited to see how she does.
And Speaking of girls that I think I wanted more for, and I got it for Suki. I really didn't get it for Ting Wong. First of all, don't feel great saying her name, but beyond that, I think that one of the things about Ting Wong is that she is such a real person queen. I don't know how else to say it, but like, you hear people that when you hear them sing, you're like, oh my god, to be in the room with them changes their voice. Ting Wong has a personal energy, has like a vibe, and I just feel like to be in the room with her, I can totally understand why every casting agent puts her on. I can totally understand why she is so celebrated enough to get onto a show like this. But there is a certain kind of magic that cameras just don't know how to pick up, and I'm going to assume that that's why Ting Wong just does not thrive the way she deserves to. I hope that she's killing it, but I am so sorry that her track record is certainly not what she's looking for.
Yeah, definite bummer. But again, hopefully she's booked and blessed in her own life and doing her thing. The thing I really want to give her props for is she had the reaction that I just always wish people would have when somebody says, oh, I picked your lipstick, where she just went, yeah, you have to pick somebody. It's just really not a big deal. There are so many opportunities for drama on Drag Race. And if you want to make good TV, there are so many ways to do it. But the argument of like, oh, you with only 2 options chose me. I'm now furious. I am now going for it is just, it's so dumb. I think a totally fair one is, oh, well, when it was your turn, you picked me, and I didn't know who to pick when it was my turn, so I picked you. That's a totally fair one. Like, there's a bunch of really fair ones, but like, it just annoys the shit out of me. And so
that's why I eliminated you from Verse the World.
Blammo. I think I really just appreciated that she just had a cool girl answer, just was very chill about it, and just reminded me that why I think she's just a sweet queen.
Oh, am I not hearing? Is it a me thing?
No, I don't hear Tori
Nope,
either.
it's a me thing.
We found her. She's amazing.
It's a me microphone.
It's a me microphone. I saw Jonah do it. I thought I'd get into it, and then I forgot.
Microphone
For me, I think that there is something very obvious about Ting Wong that makes them something white in the room. It's very obvious that they're charming and care deeply about drag and about representing themselves and where they come from. And I think that that there was a feeling of our this is where my darker conspiracy theories of are you Asian enough kind of start. Is with the disinterest in seeing how Asian culture can meld with other culture and create something that is still very deeply Asian without it's a Chai Tea Grande on UK this week put it very, very perfectly, that being Beautiful. 2 halves does not mean that you are only half of something. You are still 2 wholes. You are a greater something for it. And I think that that was something that haunted the early episodes of the show that I might have been a little too sensitive to, coming from a culture that is not the Philippines. And I think that Ting Wong fell victim to that, in nobody getting it. And I think that's a shame, because if you're still going and you're still doing this, and it is so, you're performing it at this level again and again, you're obviously doing something right. So
yeah.
Ting Wong is a very funny queen, and I enjoyed her on her original run, so I was excited to see her back again, see how she evolved. And I think the show, in a way, a little bit did her dirty. I think that she was so under her own pressure, and I think the show exploited it a little bit, not terribly much, not like fully threw her under the bus, but to find out that like she recorded the vocal, the little runoffs and the little extras that she did. And then when they first performed it, they weren't there, or they told her that they weren't going to be in them, so she didn't lip sync them, and to use that against her is a little shady. I also don't know if she was handling the pressure she was putting herself under to do well the best. It seemed like she had a little bit of more of a bite compared to UK season 1. And I think it unfortunately led to some awkward moments, but I hope she doesn't feel defined by those, and I hope the fandom doesn't define her by those moments solely. I hope people are like, maybe she just had a bad day. She just might have just had a bad day and she just didn't know how to react, and the entire situation is a pressure cooker designed to make people explode. And for people to kind of have a little bite or be a little more shady than they might be intended, really still wasn't as bad as other people, so...
Yeah, and I don't think that I don't think what Tori is saying is unfair, and I don't think that we are saying anything to come for this franchise or production by saying it. It is very frequently even just an unconscious bias that happens. I think that we are all keeping a very close eye on how the Irish Queen is going to be doing on Drag Race UK this season, because they are making a big deal out of that. So,
yes,
these things are part of the conversation, and as for as much as I praised a queen earlier getting a chance to talk about her culture, we also need to make sure that we are keeping aware and making sure that this is what it is intended to be, which is a blending of all of these cultures coming together.
And speaking of what people are intended to be, you guys know how like Jojo Levesque is meant to be a singer? Like when you hear Jojo sing, like, Get Out, and it's a little too late.
Right. Okay.
When you hear Jojo Levesque sing, you literally think her voice is for music. When I see Vinas, she is for drag. That is hers. That is her right. That is her art. She makes it a celebration. I am grateful that I got to be a part of a Vinas season, because even if she's not my choice for a winner, she's a winner. She's not my choice, but I'm not Mama Pao, so it doesn't matter. I am just so excited to celebrate this queen no matter what. She's so talented and she deserves to be here.
Yeah, she is she's excellent. She's got it all. She's got the charisma, she's got the uniqueness, she's got the nerve, she's got the talent. She has been my follow character for this season. I have been watching it on her shoulder, and it's been a great journey. I think she is really one of the greats, and that mythical creature look, I just will never stop thinking about. What just an absolute banger that was.
It was so fantastic. She's so fantastic. She stole my heart from the moment that I saw her walk out. I think she's just absolutely amazing. I can see why she's resonating so well with the audiences. I can see why I love her. She's gorgeous. And I just think that it really can, between her and Brigiding, I don't know who I think is going to take it, but those are my final two for sure. And I think Vinas DeLuxe is just absolutely fantastic, and I think could probably come over here to America and do a couple of cities or join a tour and do quite well.
As this show's number one JoJo, who is never too late, how do you feel about the incomparably talented Vinas DeLuxe?
She was like 13 singing that, and we were all like, yes, girl, you know exactly what we're talking about.
So there are two different JoJos.
No, it's the one JoJo. Her name is JoJo.
There's JoJo Siwa, there's me, JoJo, and then there was a singer in the early aughts, JoJo.
So I've had the small problem of that. I thought JoJo Siwa was older than she was.
And then there's Casey and JoJo.
That's also very different.
Who are actually also in Jodeci, don't forget.
I do forget.
But it's not too late. I can't move on. I am very fascinated by this queen. From her initial placement, she's kind of a little bit of an earlier out, and it's like, okay, well, what does she have to bring? What does she have? And she's actually a very stunning queen. I think she has so many talents. The look that she made is probably going to go down one of the most, for unconventional materials, one of the most amazing things someone has ever made in any of these workrooms ever. It was so stunning, so gorgeous. She knows comedy. She knows how to be funny. She has a gorgeous face. I don't know if I 100% vibe with her, but I think she's an amazingly talented queen. And similar to Brigiding, if she did win, it would be this beautiful full circle moment of an earlier to mid out who had more to show, comes back to show that they do have it and they could have won if they just had a little bit more time to cook. And so I'm ready to see what the chef brings, and best of luck to her.
I love it. Kevo.
This drag is a demon. She's satanic. No, I'm kidding, obviously. And I kid because I'm part Catholic, part Jewish, part witch, so I've got a lot of jokes. She's super cute, for sure. Her energy is all over the place, where she gives this America Ferrera glam while she's in drag, but then kind of frequently dresses like a 6-year-old. So her energy is just all over the board. But she is so talented. And, seeing someone who was on season 1 of Philippines here, who clearly 7th out, getting to be part of a journey for someone like that, even when it's from a leg of the franchise that we aren't familiar with, is always so exciting. And I'm so excited for her.
And for our final queen, but she's certainly not last. You know what? If you don't get Yuhua, you don't get New York. She's fuck you. She's the subway. She is so cool. She's so fun. She is standing against the barricade, trying to get into Pride. She's so New York. She is Dirty Water Dogs. She is a pretzel on Fifth Avenue. I think she is the fucking bee's knees, and I hope that Yuhua never stops being a New York queen.
I love that you said all that stuff, but didn't mention anything in Chinatown, where she actually lives.
You know what? I don't dox queens. So,
I will say I would have been really cool to have one Asian queen from New York and one Asian queen from Los Angeles.
LA.
Joella, we'll see you for season 2, baby.
The original Slaysian queen.
She's been doing quite well on Binge Queen. She's been doing quite well with your girl Melinda, I believe.
But yeah, I mean, this is, of course, this is a classic. This is she is such an amazing queen. Like I said, she didn't show that great on her season, but I think she was really compelling, and she has continued to actively work. And that's all I want. I just want everybody to be working and be happy and be able to do their thing. And so it's been a hot minute since we've seen her. I was really happy to see her here. I've been really happy to get to know her better, for her to have a chance to shine a little bit more, to represent her own Asianness, her own culture, but also to represent America. This is for all of us, East Coast, West Coast, whatever. There's only one American girl there. Although technically not, because Siam is an American citizen.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it was great to have her. I was rooting for her all the way. I loved watching her go as far as she did.
I was so excited she got as far as she did. I was real scared for our girl. I remember mostly what I had written down from her season 10 was, reminds me of Bianca's face. I like her. And so I had to recalibrate a little. But I think she was so fun. I think this is another one where the excellence of her work on the show is about how the other queens reacted to her, how they felt like she was their mother, she was their heart, like she was so important to them, which I don't feel that I saw reflected on camera, and so it was a little bit of a surprise on her last episode. But I just think that is just a testament to how she can still be like a regularly working queen in New York, who people know who she is and come to her for dresses as well, because she is also a damaged seamstress.
I adore this bootleg queen. And that is not me calling her a bootleg. That is her own brand. It's what she does. I love everything that she does. She's kind of just leaned into being in like a kind of a goofy personality where it can be fun. Drag can be, it doesn't have to be, you know, glitz and glam, Violet Chachki of it all. It can kind of be a little bit more fun, a little bit silly, and not as extreme 100% showgirl caliber. It can be its own form of beauty. And I know that sounds shady, but I'm trying not to be shady because I think
no, it's not shady. It's Canal Street. It's fine.
I think she's great. I adore her. I was so happy to see her on the list. I'm so happy she got a challenge win. She's made me so happy and proud this entire season. So I hope she feels like great that like she kind of did that.
And you know, I love Tori saying mother vibes because that reminds me, you know, again, so much of beyond just regular drag race competition or drag versus other countries competition. We always talk about how we want more diversity of content from how we are seeing queens compete. Drag mother competition or something like that. That's a wild new idea. We talk a lot about wanting to see comedy competition, you know, more things like that. So I am advocating once again for all new programming of that style. More Glam Slam, please, goodness gracious. That was such a cute little fashion competition series. Doesn't even have to be that long, but you know, you have all of these amazing talents with a whole variety of skill that you could be showcasing in so many different ways. So check out our Glam Slam coverage for sure. Yeah, I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for what we have still yet to come.
So I'm going to chop all of our talking about each girl into shorts, and then we are going to have a short for who wins because we talked so extensively. This is the longest episode in a trillion years. So we're going to go up the rank. I gotta go. We're going to go up the links or up the ranks. I'm done. You know, I think I'm just upset that Link didn't die on Graze. Anyway, Kevo, where can we find you? We think you're beautiful.
You can find me, you know, advocating for Link to survive, but perhaps lost one of his hands after playing the guitar at his wedding. Playing the guitar during your vows, man, he's got to at least struggle for the rest of his season to use that hand. But Owen could have died. That would have been fine. And you can talk to me about that on the socials at Kevo Really. That's KEVOREALLY.
You got to hit me, Jonah.
Hit me, baby, one more time. My name is Jonah. You can follow me places at Peak Jonah. I am so excited for this finale, and I hope this season has great reception to bring people back because I need the season 2 winner of Joella.
Tori, you're the only one who laughed at my Canal Street joke, so you win this episode. Where can we find you?
You can find me being cheap on the street at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
No,
but speaking of people that have definitely...
That's not...
I'm sorry?
No.
No.
Speaking of people who have definitely shopped on Canal Street with me, TK, where can we find you?
You can find me at TK Accidental. And last but not least, big man, where can we find you?
You guys can find me at Nico Canal. That's NICOACTION. You guys can, of course, check me out at Nico Action Music, NICOACTIONMUSIC. Guys, the most important thing you guys can do is like, comment, and subscribe on this show. X is for show. But if you guys are looking for more stuff, you guys check us out on podcast. X is for podcast, HTML, and more. We love you guys. We can't wait to see you. So do us 3 favors. Number 1, please be safe. Number 2, please do us a favor and be brave. But number 3, evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, that's your first season. Who you are today, that's Slaysian Royale. But who you are tomorrow, that's Khianna winning global. And so until Arizona marries me with her crown on, we'll see you.
Bye.